All right. So we'll go on to the next question, Alicia. It's yours.
All right. It says Malia's professor is an ass. What made him think he could get away with sleeping with his students and not get caught? I don't know what made them think that. I mean, they always do, don't they? The devil do folk dirty. They always get caught. I don't know how many news stories where it comes out that the coach or a professor or something like that don't mess with the student, and I'm like, it
Hmm.
always comes out, but I don't know what. And he was actually giving out grades and stuff, like, you know,
Hmm.
smash me and you pass. Sir, what?
Right. And
But
that happens a lot.
he was a butthole, and I think because it happens so much, he probably was. It never happened with Malia, but when he ran it, after at the graduation, it's like, yeah, well, I might need an assistant. Like he gonna try that hand one more time. I know he's probably tried it all throughout her, all throughout her teaching. The whole time they were in class and blah blah blah, and it's like,
One
okay,
more time.
now she graduated. Let me
Baby, that took me back.
I'm gonna just throw it out there. She might do
That
it
one
now.
more time.
One more. Um,
One
so
more
I
time.
don't know why he didn't think he would. I don't know what made him think he wouldn't get cockiness. I guess cockiness. He
Yeah.
don't got away with it for so much for so long. He's like, oh, okay, wait. I ain't been caught yet, so I must be
You know
doing,
what I'm saying?
doing something good, doing something right.
I've been cut yet. I still
Right.
ain't been cut yet.
So I don't.
Girl.
But I do agree that he's an ass, a nasty one at that. Um,
Nasty one.
and yeah, it was his cockiness. He's gotten away with it for so long that he probably just thought, he was invincible.
So I agree. He is an a-hole who has been getting away with sleeping with his students. He's been doing this for quite some time, and now the information is being leaked, and he is extremely embarrassed. So I don't know why anybody would put their own reputation and their own career in jeopardy. You know, sleeping with a
Right.
student, absolutely not. He was the book talked about how he was exchanging letters, grade letters for sexual favors. And so it's just she had a lot of people who are act like they're so thirsty. And I remember, it was like, was it chapter 2? Malia was talking about how beautiful and amazing the young professor was and how, he always had a bunch of girls around, but he was supposedly tutoring them. I guess those were people who he was sleeping with, right? But
Right.
he's not an ugly man. So the fact that you're sleeping with your students is like, sorry, you're just greedy. Like you don't need to be sleeping with your students. Like you need to be thinking about, could I be crossing some moral and ethical boundaries that are going to get me in trouble? Because anything that's going to get me in trouble, I just don't need it. So I think it was foolish of him. He was, for what the book described as a good looking guy. He could have gotten with some women who were not his students, even if he liked them that much younger. It shouldn't be your students. That's going to
Right.
raise red flags and have you looking at some judges and having to hire an attorney to try to explain this crap. So Kyrie's not here because she had to go run off and take care of one of the kids. Also, I'll read her question. It says, Chan unleashed hell on Professor Pervert. I think that was well. His new name is well deserved. Professor Pervert is how we will be responding to him and calling him from now on. How
Professor
long
Pervert, come
had
through.
he been standing there? Professor Pervert. So it says, how long had he been standing there? Do you think it was necessary for Chan to act this way? Um, I guess he had been standing there for quite some time. I mean, he literally rebutted everything the homeboy gave to Malia.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that Malia, he had said about that job and what he could do for Malia, Chan was like, yeah, we don't actually need
You
that.
won't
She
need
has her own successful business. Like he came in like he was repping like a mascot. He was like, she has her own business and she's successful. She's about to open up the third store. Like, what are you talking about? Like he came in like a whole monster. Part of me was like, yay for standing up to her, standing up for her. And another part of me kind of felt some kind of way because it was like, are you going to be attacking everybody? Like, Malia can take care of some things for herself too, but it just seems like anytime he thinks somebody got their hand on that sandwich tray, that platter, he literally
that.
he is losing himself, And so I believe that Was it necessary for him to act that way? I mean, he didn't have to, but he felt compelled to, and he did that. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was necessary because this professor was completely out of line, and this is his love interest. Like he crossed the line. He ain't on no Frank energy where folk could just disrespect his wife, or I mean, they're not married or nothing, but you ain't gonna disrespect his woman in front of him like that. He ripped that card up. Hey, she don't need this, bro. I got this. Back up, nigga.
She did a lot.
Trying to do, and then I mean, like, girl read him for filth, and yeah, I think it was necessary.
Hmm.
It got the message through. He backed up.
I
Professor.
mean, Malia was shocked.
He was asked.
She
She
didn't even
was.
know.
She's
She
like,
didn't
whoa.
even know that Chan was even there, and for him to pull that card out of her hand, like you said, he tore it up. He talked big trash and was like, um,
But
okay,
yeah,
thanks.
that whole how long have we been standing there? He heard the whole exchange, so he been there for a while, and that's where I'd be like, oh my god, I need to check my surroundings. Like this Negro been behind
Right, need
me
to be.
a whole 10 minutes now. Listening to a whole exchange.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, where did you pop up from, bruh? So,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just sitting there like about time, brother. And he's like, congratulations, baby, and he's like claiming her a little bit, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
Kissing her, and he just went there. I was like,
He
whoa,
kissed
okay,
her. He defended her. I was like, okay, come through, brother Chan.
come through though.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's I do feel it was necessary in that situation. Like if she's just talking to a friend, whatever, and he come butting in with all that macho shit. It's like, yo, but back up. But somebody's
Pipe
disrespecting what
down,
he is. Yeah, what he
right?
sees as his, and he's not. He's not like I said. He ain't on no Frank shit. He gonna take
And
care of
the
it.
thing was, the professor hadn't said anything that was like out of the way, but it was the looks that he was giving Malia. He was eyeing her
Well,
very
he
much, very, and she
insinuated.
was kind of like, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
he
the
insinuated
the
it
body
wasn't,
language
"I
was there.
really need this." It was it
Yeah,
was, "Come work for me." Like I said, he was gonna try one more time. He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna give
he
it
would
one
try it
more
one more
go."
time, and I think that was a thing. It was like there was a lot of nonverbal cues that were very clear of his intentions, for her. He didn't ask her, well, what are your plans after graduation? Do you need a job? Do you have any internships lined up? He was like, I got that beef for you, sis. I got that hammer. Like it was like you don't even ask. I think that's the thing that always
Him.
gets me with people. That hammer. That's what gets me, I think, about a lot of people is when they don't check with you to find out like what's going on in your world. They make assumptions about things. And I'm like, don't assume nothing over here because you might be really shocked when you find out, like, oh, okay, so it's not what I thought it was. Well, dang. Mhm, mhm. Now you look stupid because you should have asked the question instead of assuming.
Instead of just assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, people do a lot of assuming.
All right. So the next one, who sent that well-planned text message to everyone at graduation? I think it was one of Chan's goons. Not necessarily Chan, but he has a whole team, a whole surveillance team. So I think they did their little info, like, okay, who's this nigga? Because he probably did try earlier in the semester to get at her, and he's like, hold on, because Chan want to know everything to the color of drawers she got on. So, and he's been
Color
watching her.
panties, baby.
Right. And he's been
Hmm.
watching her and who she interacts with. And so, this guy probably, I don't think this is the first time he's tried to like throw something at Malia, like, hey, blah blah blah. So Chan probably like, hey, let's do a little research on this dude. Let's see what's going on. Because
A
Chan was
little
able to
research, a
call
little
out.
investigation.
Right. When he read him, he called out what he did. He's like, yo, and hey, didn't you do this? And you gave people, A's, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, almost like, okay, so guess what's coming. And then after he says it, like everybody gets this mass text. And I'm like, he knew the text was coming. He read him. He told him, basically what the text message said, what he was doing, giving out A's
Hmm.
and blah, blah, blah. And he said, ask your teacher, your professor, he's going to be exposed. And then that's what the freaking text message says. professor
Right.
exposed, blah blah, and everybody's reading this like, whoa. And so,
Oh,
yeah, right after
snaps.
Chan read him, everybody got the mass text. So I think it was probably one of his goons. He's like, he probably sent out a little message like, all right, I'm gonna say this, boom, 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 and then I don't know, maybe gave up a little skill something, and then everybody got the mask. All right, and send.
We through.
And
We done. We good. We good.
we goody. I
Yeah,
think so.
we
Yeah, I
good.
think
I
Ian
think
was
it
somehow.
really goes to show how deep he is.
Hmm.
How deep he is off into her life then, because that would have meant that he had already had that professor exposed, well, not exposed, but he had already had him investigated. So it's like, has everybody in her life been investigated? And if so, what
Hmm.
secrets do you have on all these people? You
Right.
know, because it does
Is she
really feel
ready?
like he wants to paint. What'd you say?
I said what secrets that he wants to throw out there. When he gets upset
Mm-hmm.
with somebody. Like, oh yeah, I found this out about
Mm-hmm.
you. So.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I'm like, if you could do all that to her teacher, because I mean, the book didn't say who sent it, but kind of like we kind of figure like we know. So I don't know if Malia had ever said something to him in the process of them talking over these last few weeks. Like, my teacher is really amazing, and she must have said something came up somehow, and he was like, okay, well, look into him, and so it was like.
Mhm.
How I mean, in my mind, it's like, how did you know that this was going to play out like this? Maybe he didn't know it was going to play out like that. Maybe he was like, if he come back around here looking at this platter, we got something coming for you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
That's
Chan is he's like a chess player and he's taking all the pieces off the board. He's like anybody who has the potential to try to interfere with what I have with her. I'm gonna eliminate you because you're not gonna be a possibility. You're not gonna be a possibility. You're not gonna be an option. I'm taking you off the board. You know what I'm saying? And if that means I gotta destroy you in the process, I mean, we're gonna do what we do. But you gotta go. You got to
make it
go.
do it.
So
Mhm.
make it do what it did.
Mhm.
So the next question is mine. It's the last one. It says, how did Chan know so much information about Professor Razab and his dark secrets? We are starting to see a darker side to Chan and how vicious he can be. Um, yeah, we are starting to see a darker side of Chan. We are starting to see what money can buy. Money can buy you a lot of things. Money can buy
Right.
you resources to investigate people. And that's like me and you had, I think it was me, you, and wait, I don't know. It might have been me and Kyrie. Did you watch the season of You on
Yes.
Netflix?
Not the newest
Okay,
one
I
'cause it's
couldn't.
boring, but
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
I
you
watched.
ain't you ain't missing nothing. You ain't missing nothing. I think I got through like maybe episode 2 and got irritated,
Yeah,
because he's abroad in Europe right now, and he is now he's dealing with these like
young and
socialites who are very
right.
very well known. It's like the Paris Hiltons and the Kardashians of those type of like reality people and people who family have deep pockets and they're well known, right? And one thing I thought was odd, if you're trying to stay out of like the public light, why are you hanging around people who paparazzi follows them and takes their pictures? If you're trying to stay out of a certain limelight, why are you hanging out with people who have people investigated for sport? I don't know what it is about the rich, baby. I don't know what it is about these people.
They
They
be bored.
love to have people investigated. They can't be around you unless they find a little dirt on it. They're like, let's look into that person's life. Let's check this out. Let's just see about this, right? They do that. And so that's what kind of seems like Chan is doing in a lot of ways. It's like, this is what he does to people. He gets close to them and he digs into their lives. He needs to know every aspect about who these people are. And he keeps like a little file on them. So if anything comes up, I'm checking you. What were your thoughts?
Um, yeah, we are seeing a darker side to Chan and what he's capable of. It wasn't like he walked up behind her and within 10 minutes he had all that info and was able to leak that text message. So at some point,
Mm-hmm.
the professor must have got inappropriate with her or something, and immediately this guy had him investigated and wanted to know the ins and outs, and probably even talked to a couple of the students. Like he made sure his information was solid and he came through with it. So, and he didn't do that in
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes. So the fact that, he already had all that
No.
info ready to go, yeah, we're seeing what he's capable of. And it's like you said earlier, what happens, if somebody just says the wrong thing or makes him mad? Like, is this something she always got to worry about?
Hmm.
If she has a conversation with the mailman, you're going to go investigate him and, tie him up in a warehouse somewhere. Like, where does it end? And it's kind of like
Yeah,
a little,
where does
like,
it
I'm
end?
happy that he stood behind, like, if, I'm happy that he kind of stood up for her in that moment. But then when you think about it, it's like, does she really have any privacy? Does she have,
Mm-mm.
anything going
Right.
on? That would be my first thought, be like, oh, thank you, boo. And then when I start thinking, I'll be like, I'll probably call you, like, girl, this nigga somehow knew,
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3, and then leaked into
Hmm.
the whole party, like everybody at graduation, like
Wow.
right after he, and I'll be like, wait a minute, how do he know all this? So
Hmm.
yeah, I agree. We're seeing a darker side to Chan, and it's probably something Malia need to be looking out for. That it's a double-edged sword.
Hmm.
You know, I'm happy he's defending me.
Hmm.
He's showing me he cares. He's going to protect me. He's
Right.
going to remind me. And it's like, hold on, how did you even get that? Are you like surveilling me? Are you watching me now and everything I do and who I
Hmm.
interact with? So it's a double-edged
Right.
sword. So,
Yeah. And I felt that way too. It's like it was nice he came through and, checked homeboy because he was really being out of pocket. But I always worry about people like that. It's probably because of my own personal experiences with people. Some of the people I felt like who were my greatest, champions or defenders, would also be the people who would, turn on me. And I'd be like, what? So I worry about that with Chan and Malia, that it's like, okay, things is cool now, but what if she does something that you don't like? Are you flipping tables on her? How does that work? You know what I'm saying? Because if you could be vicious to other people, what's gonna stop you from being vicious to me? And
right.
that's what I always like when I see people move dirty with other people. Like me and you had a conversation about somebody that you knew in the past, and it was like she would just flip on people and do things to get people messed up and laugh about it because it was funny to her. And you would
Mhm.
always be like, okay, well, if you did it to that person, then I know I can get it too. Like I'm not so, well, no, she would never, because the caliber of a high valued woman. Again, your value is really like,
High value.
you know what I'm saying? A valued woman. I'm telling you, your caliber of the type of person that you feel like you are, that's something that only you know. You know, nobody can tell you no because you're high valued or you're not high value, like, or whatever you want. Like that's such a stupid word anyway. High maintenance. All of it just sounds foolish. Like I don't know. Anyway, nobody can tell you who you are. Only you know who you are, right? So you know. If you have somebody and they like to play those little games with people, then my thing is, if you try them, Lord, they'll try me too. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Don't try, And so I'm very aware of like how people move. And I'm like, okay, okay, I see how so and so is moving. So I'm gonna make sure I move accordingly. And really, the way I move is just getting away from people. You know what I mean? Like all the people, they're like, I'm gonna keep my eye on that person. I'm not keeping my eye on anything. I just, I used to hate when like my family would say, keep your friends closer, but your enemies closer. Absolutely not. I don't want to know
Mm,
what you're doing. Okay.
right.
I don't care what you're doing. That's one thing is about me. I don't, and I know in the age that we live in, cyber stalking is so. I want to see what people are doing, and let me screenshot that. And where do you think they were eating dinner at last night? And
I'm gonna get
I
some
like her
receipt.
dress. I just, the type of person I don't have time to be looking up at nobody else's page, and I'm definitely not sending spies out into the camp, being like, "Well, I want y'all to go and check on so and so's page." What do you get from that though?
Mm,
On some elementary level, like what does that do for you? You know what I'm saying? Grow the
right.
up, okay? You know what I'm saying? Focus on
Mm-hmm.
your own life and it might improve an inch. So yeah, that's what we were seeing here. And Malia, baby. What's going on? What's going on, Malia? What's going on? You got the attention of this fine, sexy man who got money and stuff. But he's also a psychopath. You feel me? So that's
Right.
dangerous. Again, if you're so willing to set other people's lives ablaze, Will you do it to me? Because that's always how I ride. I see what you're doing to somebody else, and I'm always like, I can get it too. You know.
Right,
So be
right.
careful, folks. Honey, use caution. Proceed with caution. No, because they would never try me because I'm up here. Maybe they're gonna try you though. Just like they
They
always say, if they
gonna
did it to Jesus, you know what I'm saying?
they
Jesus
put
was
him on the cross.
perfect, without sin,
Period.
without blemish. And the
He was
people
God's
hated him.
son.
And I know I got plenty of sin and plenty of blemish in my life. So if they could hate him, the people in the Bible who killed him and disliked him, if they could kill somebody who the Bible declared as innocent, without fault, without blame, if folks would hurt him and want to take his life, I know they ain't got a problem hurting me, baby, because I know I got problems. You see what I'm saying? Like, to
Right,
come after somebody who's blameless, faultless, you know? But
right,
that's the world we live in today. You could be standing there minding your own business, and just the fact that you look peaceful could mess up somebody else's day. No, because you just know because you look like you're happy, and I haven't looked that way in years. People are crazy. Anyway, so thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Rose City, the After Show. We hope that you enjoyed our discussion on episode 28, the graduation. Don't forget to tune in next week when we will be diving into episode 29. It will actually be a continuation of the graduation because you want to see how that situation unfolds. We want to see what Professor Pervert has to say and how he wants to defend himself against the allegations that Chan has thrown his way. If you haven't already started reading the book, like, I don't know what you're doing, baby. Like, we here, baby. The first 3 chapters are free. Um, it's on Kindle Vella. So there's really no need for you to be, saying stressing. The story is right here. The link is provided over there. All you gotta do is click it. You don't have to download nothing. We know you're gonna be hooked. We hooked. New episodes are being published every week. We love hearing from our readers. So please add your thoughts, your questions, and your theories to the comments and reach out to us on Rose City The After Show on Facebook. All links will be provided in the description, as I said before. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next week in Rose City. Bye.